Hey, um, it's Susan Proper. I haven't been live in a long time. And, hey, Beth, um, I am going to bring in a friend of mine and have a conversation. This is the first time I'm trying to do this. My friend Louise. There she is.
Ah, hello.
Hey.
Hello, lovely. How are
So
you?
good, good. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Good.
So Louise and I'm just sort of making I don't know, a little intro as to what we're doing here. Louise and I are colleagues, and we both are yinsters. And yeah, so we decided to do this kind of live conversation on Instagram. I haven't been live on Instagram in a while, and I don't know about you, Louise, but I get so inspired by people who just flow naturally on these lives, and they look so happy, and they look so I don't know, comfortable and natural, and they just always have something to say, and I'm just like, bleh.
I know. I always seem to just rabbit away like 19 to the dozen. And also my little dog gets quite excited when I start talking seemingly to nobody. So, but yeah, I always feel like I'm rabbiting away like mad. But I know what you mean. Some people just seem to look so at home, don't they? And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it does get easier.
Yeah.
I think it does seem to get easier. So yeah, it's just it's a strange new way that we're in, isn't it? Now, I think if you compare it to a year ago, maybe I think it's just the way that it's definitely in here in the UK. It's been for the last 5 months. It seems to be becoming a little bit more of a normal way to communicate now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've always, especially like I have a lot of friends in Europe, and we've always been using WhatsApp or,
Oh
gosh, back in the old days, we were using Skype for Pete's sake.
God, yeah.
But I don't know if anybody uses Skype anymore, to be honest with you. But um, now it's um, it's so different, especially for yoga teachers. It's like who I don't know if there's a lot of yoga teachers that are going back to regular studio stuff.
Well, it's funny you should say that. Actually, I taught this evening. I taught my first class
Oh,
in the flesh
oh God, how did that go?
since the 16th of March.
Wow.
It was weird. It was not nicely weird, but it was a little strange. It was really strange,
How
actually.
many people were there?
There were 12 students, so it was
Oh,
all very well, nicely organised. It was in a big barn, in a really big. It was just a cover class that I agreed to, so it was a big barn, really rural, very airy, with the big doors open. Um, Everything was marked out, so
yeah,
the people had taped out the mats, the places for the mats, so they were all distanced.
yeah, yeah.
Um, it was strange not to actually see people right there in front of you,
Hmm.
and not to go and to be able to. I had to really rein myself back to not go and adjust.
Right. Okay.
Simple little things. I mean, this was a vinyasa flow class.
Okay.
I just even like, not necessarily a big hands-on adjust, but like, just for example, it's like when you have somebody in half moon, I used to like to go and put my hand on their foot and just tell them to push their foot into my hand. And I
Yeah.
thought, I shouldn't do that. I can't be
Right.
doing that. So yeah, but it was good. It was nice. It was nice.
Yeah.
It,
Did you have anybody in class wearing a mask?
no,
No.
no, no. No, we didn't actually. And interestingly, actually, nobody actually arrived with one either. I wonder if it was because it's just so rural.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I've been to a couple of classes, not teaching, but, just to attend.
Have you?
Yeah, I've been, and there were maybe 6 or 8 of us in the class, and nobody, well, actually, no, I think one person did wear a mask the entire class.
Oh my God. What type
Yeah,
of class was it? Was it a yin class or a moving
yeah,
class?
it was
Uh,
yin. It was yin.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just, of course, everything's marked out just like you said.
Oh.
And there's a lot of space. And of course, in,
How did you go for props? What about the
well,
props?
yeah. So you have to either bring your own prop, or if you're using
Right.
their props, you have to bring your towels and cover the props with your towels.
Yeah.
And of course, if you're using blocks, then you have to wipe down the blocks afterwards. They have, those wipes,
Mm.
sanitizer wipes for you to wipe everything down afterwards. But I feel that most people that are in the class um, are kind of comfortable with the concept of going back, and maybe it's because a lot of them were younger. The students that were a little bit older, like 60 and above, they're
Mm.
taking the classes on Zoom.
Right.
Yeah, but the younger students are seem to be going back.
They want to go
Uh,
back, don't they?
yeah, and they want that sense of being back
Yeah.
uh, in a studio and being with other students, and I really get that, because I miss that myself. I really miss that feeling of being together with other
Yeah.
people. I miss my girlfriends, never
Yeah.
mind just being in a yoga class. I miss my
Yeah.
girlfriends, and being together and just going out, and going out to dinner or going out for a glass of wine, or
Yeah. I
god.
agree. It
Yeah.
is interesting, isn't it? Because I this morning, when I opened up Instagram and I looked and I saw, you see this pattern in Instagram, don't you? On a Monday morning, there's always like a flurry of activity for the week. And I saw this, the whole flurry of local yoga teachers all starting soon, in classes in person workshops. And I kind of felt, oh, I'm not doing that yet. I've no plans to go back to in-person classes with my group. I thought I should ask my members what they want to do. So I put a poll in our private group to, what do I don't know what you want really. What would you tell me what you'd like. Are you happy to stay with things exactly as they are? Everything online, regular classes online, workshops online. Would you like to stay online regular classes, but then maybe like have a monthly workshop in person?
Hmm.
Would you like a blend? Or, can't you wait for things to get back to normal and we're all practicing together? You just only want to go back to online. Nobody voted for that option, interestingly. Nobody voted for the I want to go back to practicing,
Really? Wow.
in person. Most people either checked, I'm happy to stay as we are. But yeah, it was either that or the online classes and a monthly workshop in person. Because I get the sense that here, really, in the UK, we kind of like, we're in the summer, but we really don't know we don't know what's going to happen in the next few weeks. And when the weather starts turning, we start going into autumn and the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody really knows what's going to happen, really. And I don't know about you as well, but definitely with yin, I find that people are liking practicing in their own homes. They
Yeah.
like having the temperature just right for them. You know, everybody's happy. You know, if you're a hot bod, you can have it a little bit cooler. You know, if you feel the cold, you can turn your heating up. You can get yourself cozy. You can get your own little yin nest, and really, you know, you can really set yourself nice and comfortable. And then at the end of the practice, you don't then have to go out and drive away and
Right.
kind of burst that lovely bubble. So I'm probably still none the wiser, really. But we definitely won't be going back. But I know, I hear you. I miss my friends as well, actually.
Yeah, I really do. I miss that. I miss that camaraderie, and for me, I miss that sisterhood. I really do miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
How long has it been since you've been? How long has it been for you?
Well, you know, I think it was March sometime where everything just sort of closed down. But I've been doing online for, you know, my own thing online
Yeah.
for a long time. But the studios here all sort of closed down. Yeah, I guess it was sometime in March. Things started to change a little bit before that. You know, there were already kind of like rumblings and little things that you noticed going on in the community. But the big change happened in March.
Yeah.
Towards the end of March. Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is crazy. But
You couldn't.
the,
If anybody had told us this was going to happen this time last year, we'd have laughed at them, wouldn't we?
well, yeah, it's so unreal. It really is so unreal. But like you said, the good thing about the yin practice, and I'm a huge yoga nidra fan as well,
Yeah.
and a teacher as well, is those are so easily adaptable to being
Yeah.
at home. You know, you hit the nail right on the head when you said that. And it's so easy, especially with yoga nidra
Yeah.
also. You know, you just kind of curl up and can go to bed, right?
Exactly. You know, it's and like I used to teach my workshops, my yin workshops, in a beautiful yurt. And it was gorgeous this year. It was all like fairy lights and candles, and there was
Oh,
a
nice.
log burner. And I used to take flowers and make a flower mandala in the centre. It was gorgeous. And I used to do like quite regular yin and sound bath workshops. So I had a friend that she runs sound therapy sessions, and she'd bring her gong and all her Tibetan singing bowls and her crystal bowls and everything. And I'd do like an hour's yin, and then she'd play her bowls and her gongs for half an hour.
Oh my God,
And
that sounds
it was
beautiful.
lovely. It was
Ah,
absolutely lovely, blissful, lovely. But there'd always be some dear soul, never the same person, but like there's you can guarantee there's always one that falls asleep
yeah,
and snores.
yeah, yeah.
And you kind of think, oh, well, you know, they're obviously really tired, and it's great that they're relaxed and they need the sleep, but they're snoring and they're kind of ruining it for everybody else.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're at home, yoga nidra, and I've actually done online, I've done collaborations with this same sound therapist actually
Oh,
with her bowls online, and it
uh,
works really well. And you think, you can snore to your heart's delight. You snore your heart out, like a buzzsaw. It's not going to affect anybody else.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
fors and against, isn't there, really?
Mm-hmm.
I do miss those, they were quite special, and I'd always make like a little treat, and we'd share some sort of like edible treat at the end of the workshop. But of course, we don't
Okay.
do that. We don't do that
Mm-hmm.
now. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, that's that whole, um, I work with women, so it's that whole sisterhood thing that I
Yeah,
miss so much. And even from my own healing, that and that whole transformation that happened to me about, well, I guess it's like 5 years ago now at this point. um, I attribute so much of that to the women that I met through yoga, and the sisterhood and the bond that I had with those women
yeah.
from the
It's really
studio.
powerful, isn't it? It's really
Yes, it
powerful.
it truly is, and I know that that connection, it just doesn't happen virtually. Yeah,
No,
once in a while you'll make a connection, and it'll just be there, um, if you're fortunate enough to have that happen when you
yeah,
when you meet somebody online or something like that. But typically it's more in person and
yeah.
um,
I think
face to face.
it can happen, but I think as a facilitator, I think you have to work that much harder at it.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have to put more in, and do this sort of thing, and like do
yeah,
like the circles, and give everybody. If you're going to do like a share, I mean, I guess it's the same in person, isn't it? If you're running a sharing circle, you have to be very mindful that one person doesn't dominate.
yes.
Um, but I think maybe it's a little easier to manage over the online platform, whatever you're using.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
but it's harder work. It is harder work.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So what brought you to yin, Louise?
Oh, it's really interesting actually, because my background is in fitness training. So I was a personal trainer, fitness instructor for about 30 years. So
Oh, wow.
when my boys were born, I qualified as a fitness instructor, and have taught all kinds of circuit training, spin cycling, body pump, weight training, a little bit of CrossFit, and and then I've always had like a kind of like touched on the grounds of a yoga practice. And then I had an awful year about 4 years ago, 2016. I had a really terrible year where I lost quite a few close friends and family. All in that, it was that horrible year where it seemed like everybody famous was dying. We lost David Bowie, and loads of celebrities died. And I lost my dad. I lost two very close friends and a couple of other family members.
Mm.
And as yoga really helped me at that time. And then, sort of like as a little bit of a healing, I took myself to Bali for a bit of a kind of like recovery break, and I found a yoga studio there. And one of the classes on the timetable was yin yoga. I thought, well, I'll give it a go. It's not, it's hot, and might be nice to just sort of like lie around and have a bit of a stretch.
Surprise.
Yeah, surprise. And it really suits me. I could, well, it suits me in the way that it's not lying around. Yin is definitely not lying around doing nothing, is it?
Right.
But the emotional release that I got from it was absolutely incredible. And I couldn't believe it, that that everything, I just really got such a healing from it. And at that time I wasn't teaching yoga, so I thought, right, okay, I know now I want to go and do my yoga teacher training, but I don't really want to teach like vinyasa yoga, although I do, I want to teach yin. So I did my yoga teacher, my 200 hours, knowing that as soon as I'd done that, I was going to go and get trained to teach yin.
Yeah.
So and then having qualified, I took my 200 hours yoga teacher training, and then went back to Bali to do my yin training.
Oh, wow.
With really wonderful teacher, Caroline at Serenity Yoga, and she was trained by Joe Fee.
Oh my
And
God, Sophie.
so she is very, 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 very strong on the traditional Chinese medicine and all the meridians, and it just really just resonates with me. It just makes such perfect sense, you know, that we've got this complex arrangement of, like, it's like a circuit of all the meridians and the energy lines, and that, you know, everything is interconnected, and that, you know, if there's something that's displaying as a symptom, there's always a cause somewhere else. Right. Deeper down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it kind of sparked my interest, and then I did more training with Norman Blair. I've done some more training with Caroline, and I've done some with Joe as well. Mm-hmm. But I've really got into, like, the acupressure side of things as well, and the whole TCM 5 elements, and everything that I do now is around the 5 elements.
Okay.
Balancing that, because I just think if we just manage to move through the seasons and don't fight nature, then you know, perhaps we can just learn to be a little bit more in harmony. Mm-hmm. And you know, it goes down eating foods that are in season, changing our habits. It's horrendously hot here in the UK at the moment. It won't last. Next week we'll all have our central heating on, so it definitely won't last. But you know, you just don't. You have to just sit tight and go with it. So just allow. Don't do. You know, it's really hot, so don't do as much. Or get up early. Get up early and do what you need to do when it's a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's changed everything. How about yourself?
Well, I got exposed to yin my very first week that I ever went to a yoga studio, and I became hooked on practicing yin. I just fell in love with it. It was my very favorite type of yoga immediately. But I still continued to practice vinyasa yoga, mostly slow flow. I did a combination, and still do a combination, of practicing yin yoga and slow flow. But yin yoga is just my ultimate favorite. When I did my 200-hour, I knew that the class that I had to teach to the other students would be a yin class. I just knew it because I loved yin. And we also had to do another presentation, and I selected yoga nidra because those were like my two passions, you know. Those just resonated with me. I guess, I don't know, they just touched me deep inside my soul and my spirit. And once I finished my 200 hours, I realized that I wanted more yin training. And initially I thought that I would go for just like a 50-hour certification. Joe Barnett was going to be coming to Orlando, and I thought, well, maybe I'll just get a 50-hour certification with him. And another teacher at the studio where I was teaching part-time has a certification through him. And I thought, you know, maybe I'll do that. But then I thought, you know what, I really want to do more than just a 50-hour certification. So I did some homework, and I searched around, and I wanted to get an actual either a 200 or a 300 hour certification in yin.
Wow.
And that's not easy to find.
No, it's not 300. There are
Yeah.
lots of 200s, aren't there?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, I found one with Josh Summers.
Yeah.
And so I'm about 100 hours away from my 300-hour certification with Josh, because
Yeah.
he does everything in like 50-hour modules.
Yes. And
Yeah. So I have a couple of modules left with him, and one of them is Chinese medicine, actually.
Yeah.
So, because he's a
Yeah.
huge proponent of Chinese medicine
Yeah.
and acupuncture, and he's a professional acupuncturist.
Yeah.
And so I'm close to getting my 300 hours in yin.
Yeah.
And, it's been a beautiful journey with him. I love his teaching, and I love his persona. He's just such a gentle spirit, and he's an excellent teacher. And I've been so glad that I found his program, and yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
I was hoping to have it finished this year, but because of the travel restrictions and everything, I it's not going to be finished till next year, but that's okay.
Yeah, in fact, she's funny you should say that. Actually, this last week just gone, I was meant to be in Copenhagen with Joe to study with Joe Fee. She does these modules as well. Each of them they're like 100 hours. And she combines a specialist area with a portion of anatomy.
She does a lot with anatomy.
She does, yeah. So this one was acupressure. It was yin and acupressure and hip anatomy as well, incorporated. She does quite a few. So she does like a myo yin. She does like a qigong and yin module, and they all contribute. She does like this overarching, like it's 1,000 hours. I think it's massive. And I was so excited to be able to go and do that with her. But then, of course, nobody's going anywhere right now.
Yeah.
I think it's rescheduled for November, so I'm keeping everything crossed because I would really like to do that actually. Yeah. And I don't know if you've ever done any workshops with her, but she gives so much. You get so much out of her workshops. She's really, really, I've really learned so much from her.
I would love to take a workshop with her. Yeah.
But it's a fact, I think once you sort of like lift the lid up, you just want more, don't you? You just want more and more and more.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like a lifelong student, right?
Yeah, it never stops, does it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah. Well, I hear your dog. What is your dog doing?
I don't know, actually. She's looking I don't know if she's confused because I'm talking to the phone and she can hear another voice, but I don't know if she's... Roxy, what's up? Come on. What's the matter?
My dog is sound asleep on the floor. She could care less.
She normally goes to sleep when I teach. She normally makes an appearance at some point and then she wanders off, getting slightly disinterested. Excellent. Good. So it's lovely to chat to you.
Yes, same here. Well, I'm so glad that you actually got to teach live and in person today. That's really nice. Hopefully it's a sign that things are somewhat coming back to normal.
Yeah, new normal. A new normal.
A new normal, yeah. Yeah. Whatever that is, I don't know. But well, all right, Louise, it was lovely chatting with you.
Thank you, Susan, and you. It was lovely. Thank you. You take care, my love.
Yes, you too. Talk soon.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.